Oh no! We suck again! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this one, we gotta talk about it once again. The Diamond Distribution sales saga continues, this time in a love me not category. She loves me not. She loves me, she loves me not. That's what Diamond Distribution has been saying in regards to Alliance Entertainment, because we're now currently in the she loves me not category. Alliance Entertainment cancels its purchase of Diamond Comics. What the hell just happened? We are hot and we are cold, Katy Perry. Just when you think we can stop making videos about this topic and move on with our comic book collecting lives, we gotta talk about it once again. So in this video, I want to go over this quick little announcement, get you guys caught up to speed, talk about what just happened, and then once again, make predictions of where we think this might be going in the future. But of course, before I get into it, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, I appreciate it. Helps support the channel doing things. But Alliance Entertainment cancels its purchase of Diamond Comics. This is an article out of Bleeding Cool, written by Rich Johnson. I will put a link in the description down below, but let's just take a look at the article summary right here. Alliance Entertainment cancels its bid to acquire Diamond Comics distributors via Chapter 11. Universe Distribution and Adpopulum emerge as potential new owners of Diamond's assets. SEC filing reveals details of AENT's sudden withdrawal from the purchase agreement. Bankruptcy process faced legal disputes with Universal and Adpopulum's backup bid reconsidered. And there you guys see it. There's the kind of legal happenings, the legal mumbo jumbo. Bunch of line items, bunch of paperwork, bunch of signatures, bunch of rubber stamps. But really, what is there really to say here other than Alliance Entertainment just decided, nah, you know what? Comic books, not a business I want to really be in. And can you blame them after everything that has gone down? I mean, when they said that they were going to be paying $70+ million for this comic book distribution company, which, let's face it, at this point, is Diamond really even the go-to distribution company? No. I mean, Penguin and Lunar have basically taken over all of the accounts. So at the end of the day, like, was Alliance really buying something that had any value, let alone $70 million worth of value? No, they probably had buyer's remorse, which probably makes them, you know, bona fide comic book collectors, because if there's anything about comic book collectors, it feels like every comic books that they buy is buyer's remorse at this point. Shout out to the comic book sellers out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, but, you know, when you really think about it, I mean, I just have to think that, you know, when they woke up, you know, after the sobering moment, having realized that they bid so much money, they just thought to themselves, like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Like, I remember, shout out to the Industry of Comic Show, when the C-suite executive was talking about stuff and they were just asking him about, like, you know, the margins and what he needs. And he's just like, you know, we need to make $20 an item, you know, otherwise it's not worth it to us. It's like, guy, do you actually know what you bought here? Because the margins on comic books are not necessarily $20 an item here. You know, I don't actually know if they did their due diligence. And maybe they finally sobered up to the whole thing and realized, like, why would we want to buy this in the first place? I mean, shout out to Rich Johnson, who, again, wrote another article here that says, why did Alliance Entertainment change its mind about Diamond Comics? Well, you know, if you read through the entire article, you basically find out that nobody knows. That's the reality. Nobody knows why they changed their mind. But I think we can just sort of speculate and realize that it's just not really something that they probably want to be involved in. I just don't know if there's much there when it comes to, you know, the comic book distribution business, you know, as far as like the new comic book industry is concerned, which is why, you know, I think companies like Adpopulum and Universal Distribution, who were the underbid in this situation, are now going to be probably the front runners and likely going to be the people that take over, you know, the Diamond Comic Distributors company, which I'm not necessarily sure that this is the best case scenario when it comes to new modern comic book publishing, because as we've had many discussions before about Adpopulum and Universal Distribution, they already have ties to Diamond Comics. So in a lot of ways, you have a company that basically went out of business and is now being taken over by companies that are related to that company that went out of business. So now we're just going to have people run this company who basically ran it before and run it back into the ground again. But hey, I guess that's not such a bad thing. I mean, we can have lots of variants. You know, we can continue to do what we've always been doing in comic book land with this one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know really what else to say, guys, other than this is the new news, and we'll have to see what ends up happening. I think it's probably a safe assumption that the underbidders are going to end up with these comic books. But as far as Diamond is concerned, Diamond Comics declares business as usual with new quote-unquote partners. So, you know, things are just going to be moving as usual. I guess this entire saga, this entire process, is really all for naught at this point. Let's take a look at some of the quotes from Emily Boutikas, who is the Vice President of Publisher Relations over at Diamond. She says, "You may have heard or read that Alliance Entertainment made the decision to not proceed with its transaction with Diamond. While that may be disappointing to hear, be assured that the sale process will proceed with an alternative partner in the very near term. These partners have strong balance sheets and, importantly, unmatched presence and experience in our core industries. What does this mean for you? As we continue with this process, we will be operating on business as usual basis as we have been doing, with the same focus on excellent sales and customer service. On behalf of the Diamond Books family, we want to thank you for your continued patience and support. Your commitment is essential as we navigate this situation." The Diamond Chief Restructuring Officer, Robert Gorin, also had this to say: "Diamond Comics Distributors has pivoted to alternative, exceptionally well-known purchasers who are excited to partner with us. These companies have strong balance sheets and, importantly, unmatched presence and experience in our core industries. We are finalizing purchase agreements with these third parties and expect to announce the identities of these purchasers and seek court approval very shortly to complete the sales transaction." Well, there you have it, guys. Business as usual. All things are okay. Diamond Comics not going to Alliance Entertainment, going to be sold to what is, we can assume, is likely the underbidder, which is Ad Populum and Universal Distribution. I don't know, guys. I don't know what else to add to this. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. If you're a comic book retailer, maybe we should hear from you. What do you guys think about all this? Are you guys excited that this is not going to Alliance Entertainment? I mean, they were a music company. What do we want music having anything to do with comic books? You know, I wonder if this was an ego thing, ultimately. Like, do you think that Alliance Entertainment is just sort of canceling in spite of the people over at Diamond? You know, maybe that's one of the reasons. It's just like a pride thing. Because remember, like last time we talked about this, it was like Diamond wanted to like sell to the underbidder or whatever, and they had to like pull out the lawsuit. And maybe they're just like, F these guys. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's what it is. It's just like a whole bunch of ego involved in this thing. I mean, do you think that Alliance feels more slighted? Or do you think Diamond now feels more slighted because Alliance is like, no, we're not going to buy you. Nobody wants them. Diamond Comics is the new Shedeur Sanders of the comic book industry. Ooh, that was a little too soon. You know, what is going on with the Shedeur Sanders thing? Hopefully he gets drafted today. I mean, obviously he's going to get drafted. Should the Niners get him? Maybe the Niners should get him. Actually, I'd be kind of excited if the Niners got him. I don't know, guys. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders now. I guess it's time to sort of wrap up this video. Let me see if I can give any sort of final thoughts or, you know, insights, talk about comics as a whole, where we're going. I mean, I don't know. It's just distribution at the end of the day. You know, a lot of the distribution models are changing for the most part in comic books. This is why a lot of comic book companies are already going direct to consumer. You know, a lot of comic book publishers are already going to the crowdfunded space. It's like, on the one hand, like you need these mass distribution companies because it's obviously going to be more beneficial to your brand, to your IP, to your comic book to get into more stores. But at the same time, you know, the attention economy that we live in, you know, where people are building up their own networks. You have places like TikTok Shop, and you got like Instagram live sales and eBay Live and whatnot, and all these places where you really can do it yourself. You can really be your own distribution. I mean, I feel like the whole business model is something that it's like, is this really a company that is that necessary to the floppy comic book industry? I mean, I think when we're talking about, you know, mass retail, when we're, you know, big box stores and we're getting to the big business like Marvel and DC, obviously they need, you know, massive distribution to help support their industry. But, you know, when we're talking about basically every other publishing company outside of them, is it really that important? You know, and I guess I'm relating that back to, you know, what Alliance might be thinking, where they're like, you know, what is the moat here for having a comic book publishing distribution model? Like, what are we really getting out of this? You know, it's really funny because I was just reminded that when I was thinking about, like $70 million and they were going to pay this thing. And it reminded me of the story with Nat Turner, Nat Turner, if you guys don't know, is the CEO of Collectors, which basically owns PSA. I think he got his start by selling his startup for $70 million. And then kind of going on into like, you know, all the venture capital stuff that he's done and eventually, you know, being the CEO of PSA. And it's just so interesting. It's like, you're going to spend $70 million on this publishing company thing that is kind of an industry that I'm not going to say is dying. I don't think comic books are dying, but like certainly changing. And that's what you want to spend your money on versus like interesting startups with interesting people like Nat Turner, who goes on to, found PSA and all that stuff. It's just like, is this really the best use of your bankroll? Especially if you're going to leverage yourself to get this thing, which that was what Alliance was going to do, right? They were going to open up a line of credit to buy this thing. I mean, I don't know, like $70 million. I feel like, wouldn't you be better off just buying an IP at that point? I don't know, like what's for sale? Like at $70 million, what's for sale? Like, can I just buy like the rights to Thundercats, Voltron? Wouldn't that be more interesting overall? Like, I don't know. I'm just spitballing now at this point. But very interesting stuff. I mean, I guess, they could have taken the grading company and converted that into, music grading. And that's something Alliance could have done. But again, it's like, are you buying people at that point? Like, you're buying maybe some infrastructure, but at the end of the day, you need talent. You need people. And are the employees that you're purchasing, to come to you, like really like something that you value in that same way? And maybe they just decided that it wasn't worth it. And so now it's going to go to the underbidder. And we'll have to see if the underbidder thinks it's worth it as well. I mean, the underbidder is at least going to do it the way that it's always been done. Just like my dad did it, just like his dad did it, and just like his dad did it the way before him. This is the way. Anyways, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think about all this mess. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you all in the next video.